So in the last video, we we told that if a system is in equilibrium, it's dou rho by dou t is equal to 0, and we also defined what does a density function means by. Now, in order to connect it with the experimental parameter, right? The statistical mechanics is about how far we can connect the microscopic parameters to a experimental measurement. So we have something called the ensemble average. So we connect. Say if we have a physical quantity, say if I represent it by f of qp, then its ensemble average is given by integral of f of qp, then we connect it to the density function rho of qpt and d raised to 3nq d raised to 3np divided by integral of rho of qpt d raised to 3nq d raised to 3np. So this is how we find out the ensemble average. If we have a physical parameter. So what is example of a physical parameter? Say magnetization. Magnetization is a quantity which can be measured experimentally, right? If you use a Gauss meter or a magnetometer, you can obviously measure the magnetization. So in that case, this kind of parameter is very critical. There, this instead of f of qp, I will have the magnetization or the magnetic moment coming there, which is connected to its density function, and then I will have the ensemble average of the system. The ensemble average of the physical function f is equal to integral over f qp rho qpt d raised to 3nq d raised to 3np divided by rho of qpt d raised to 3nq d raised to 3np. Okay. Now, we have not still reached the case where we can take the case of an experimental measurement. How a data you obtain experimentally can be connected to its microscopic parameters. Obviously, this is the master equation connected to that, but for a person who is doing the measurement outside, the system is always considered to be in equilibrium, because the microscopic variations which happens in femtoseconds or the microseconds may not be the case of an experimental measurement. Okay, so let's discuss that case. Now we know that in the last video we discussed that if it is a stationary ensemble, the rho will not depend on time, right? Which means that this ensemble average with this ensemble average, if we are studying a system which is stationary, what does the stationary means by? That means this is the ensemble is now in equilibrium. If the system is in equilibrium, this ensemble average will be also time independent. Let me write it down for you. If an ensemble under study is a stationary one. The ensemble average of any physical quantity F will also be independent of time, right? Why? Because this is the condition which we already talked in the last video. Independent of time. That means if I take the time average of this ensemble average, that will not produce any new result or new measurement, right? So I can write that F is equivalent to, or we can call it as the ensemble average of F. I just put a time average there. Time average of the ensemble average. So the time average of the ensemble average of F. Why? Because it doesn't matter if I put a time average here, because anyway this whole thing is independent of time. Right? I just put the time average. Now what I do is that I use the concept that it doesn't matter which one I apply first. I can either write the ensemble average, since this is really a futile step, I can always write the ensemble average of the time average of F. I can always transpose both these averaging processes. So I can write that the ensemble so I just transpose both these things to here. So this is again equivalent to the ensemble average of the physical quantity F. Now I get a physical significance here. If I do this time averaging of F for a very long time, that could lead into some value which will be same for all the situations, right? Why? Because these elements of a all the elements of an ensemble are basically mental copies of a particular macro state, right? So if we wait for long time, it by itself will reach to a situation where it will get into an equilibrium microstage. Especially when we are not allowing any external system to affect it. So all the elements of the ensemble will finally lead into some stable value which will be the same, or which will be almost the same for all the elements, because the moment you take the the ensemble average is average of the time average. So in the long time, they will all reach into the same situation, because they are all little variations of the same macro state. Now I can write that, therefore I can write that f is equal to long time average of f. But long time average of f is what we get in an experiment, right? For a experimental data. So this is so therefore now I know that the ensemble average of any physical quantity f is equal to the value I measure experimentally. Let me write it down. The ensemble average of any physical quantity f is identical in value one obtained by making an appropriate measurement on the given system. Now there are a couple of points which, so that is it. So that is how one can connect. Yeah, and so that is the significance of this ensemble average, because the ensemble average, in short, gives you an idea of the experimentally calculated value. Okay, so that is the advantage of it. So a theoretician, when he do the computation, what he should be doing is to try to find out the ensemble average of that, the parameter which he is trying to simulate theoretically. So he must have an idea of the rho of QPT of the system, and he puts the physical parameter, and if he does this operation, he will get some value, and that value is to be compared with the experimental values. So that is how we do that is the scheme in which we connect this density function to this ensemble average. A couple of more points which I want to add into this one are this expression, right? This expression is applicable for any kind of ensembles. We discussed about three kinds, right? Microcanonical, canonical, grand canonical. For all the three kinds of ensembles, this expression is valid. That's the first point. Second point is that although it is applicable in all the ensembles, this expression is specifically valid for classical statistical mechanical treatment of the system. Okay. Because in classical things, we consider that the system is continuous, right? So that is how we can apply this kind of integral. But instead, if in the case of quantum mechanical treatment, which we will do in the next module, we will go ahead with the summation instead of the integral when we need to calculate the ensemble averages. Okay, so this expression is valid for all the ensembles, but this is specifically for the classical treatment of the statistical mechanics. And then you know the how a theoretician can connect his idea of the density function to a experimentalist value of measured parameter by using this kind of a treatment. Okay.